Hello, just Jem here and welcome, or indeed welcome back to my channel. It's been a very long time since I've said that, a very long time. Welcome back, not just to you, but also to me. Welcome back. I have acquired the Desert Haze palette from Beauty Bay. So this is their latest 20 pan limited edition palette that they tend to do. The last one was Daydreamer, which I was not overly impressed by, to be honest. I did feature it in possibly the last What Do I Think Now, new What Do I Think Now coming. I pointed out that I wasn't even sure if I should include it in that because I haven't even gone back to it, because I just haven't felt the desire to go back to it. However, I think Beauty Bay might have done something with this one. I think they have. This is what it looks like inside. These are the 20 shades, and I think that's quite a punchy colour story. I really like that colour story actually. When this was revealed, I was pleasantly surprised, especially after the letdown of Daydreamer. So before I go into two looks, one on each eye, I will show you some swatches, and I'll also show you this with sort of natural daylight because this is artificial lighting at the moment. This is what the palette looks like in natural light. And here are the swatches here. I'd say, how would I say, I don't think there are any squidgy, super soft, spongy shimmers in here. Like the shimmers, I think it was in Celestial Charm that there were some super squishy shades I wasn't overly keen on. I don't feel them in here. These feel a bit drier, like the shimmer formula from Beauty Bay that I tend to like. I don't like those squishy shimmers that they do sometimes. So I did wonder if this pinky shimmer down here, which is beautiful, and this pinky shimmer equally beautiful, but I did wonder if they were perhaps a bit too similar, and they are Sahara and Desert Rose. In fact, I might swatch them next to each other quickly so you can see. Very awkward angle for me here, but I hope that you can see that they are pretty close. I'm surprised at that. I thought they would add a little bit more variation. If you're going to have two pink shimmers in there, by all means do so, but make them more different. Sahara on the top has got a bit of a shift to it, which I think you can see when I put it at that angle. So straight on they look pretty close, but you can see the shift when you turn it at a different angle. Would I have put them both in this palette? I'm not sure I would have done. But on the whole, I'm quite liking this colour story, and I feel it reminds me, I mean, funnily enough, there is a shade in here called Yucca. It's this yellow here. It does remind me of Natasha Denona, Yucca, and Metropolis. It's kind of like Yucca and Metropolis had a baby, and it was Beauty Bay Desert Haze. Those are the swatches, and let's see what looks I can come up with this rather beautiful colour story. I'm actually barefaced at the moment. I have nothing on my face. I have sort of done my brows and I have primer on my lids, but apart from that I don't have anything else on my face. I'll finish it off later, but my skin is actually looking pretty decent at the moment. I think for my first look I'm going to do something inspired by a look that I saw Newport do with Agate Temptation, or Agate Temptation. Agate, whatever. Potato. It's going to be inspired by that because I quite liked the look. I will put a little image to the side here just to show you what that looks like. Before I go any further, smooth, quiet. Eyelids Prime, this is what I've used today. It's the clear base from the Gloss Gods, and let's see how we go. Where have I put all my brushes? Do I want to start with I don't know if I want to start with Canyon or Agave. I think I could get away with either one. or even Dune. Canyon Agave Dune. Let's go with Canyon. Let's go with Canyon. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit. I'll be using this mirror. I do like these palettes. There's a nice clear sharp mirror in here. Nice. So I think I mentioned there when I was showing the swatches that this palette reminded me of Metropolis and Yucca. It's got a bit more variety, say, than Metropolis. That would be my one criticism of the Metropolis palette. What I might do is I'll get Metropolis out and show you. I don't have the Yucca palette. I decided I didn't need it because I think I can dupe that actually with Earthy, another Beauty Bay palette. And that's looking quite nice actually. Nice wash of orange there. And this is a Zoeva 227. Yeah. Which always reminds me of Mel Thompson when I use this brush. This is a Zoeva 231, which is quite heavily stained, ignore that. And I think I'm now going to go into Prickly Pear, which is a deep green shade. And I'm going to put that in the corner there for a bit of depth. I don't know how far in I want to bring that. It's quite a nice green. Would I describe that as like a deep emerald shade? So I'm taking that just a little bit above the crease because, you know, hooded eyes. So I'm hoping that by the time I've put a shimmer on, you'll still be able to see this green. Shimmer wise, I really want to use the shade Mirage. Mirage is a pretty cool shade. Can you see that shift there? So like straight on, it's like this greeny gold. And then can you see, like it looks orange there. I think you can see that. Oh, it's pretty. Yeah, I think I want to use that. So I'm going to put down some NYX glitter primer here. Now Mirage. Let's see how this looks on the lid. That's cool. That's really cool. I like this shade. This is one of the shades that when I swatched the palette I thought, ooh, that's nice. And I've just had a mini swatch party here. So that's Mirage there, and I just wanted to do some swatches to see what to pair it with. And that's Salt Flat, that's Sandstorm, and this is Hazy. I'm leaning towards Hazy, though I do quite like, I think Sandstorm would also work well, but then that's a bit brighter. I'm going to go with Hazy. I'm going to use this Lamora small shader here because I think that's quite a nice shape to get in the inner corner. I don't think I need to spray it. I should still have some NYX glitter primer left in this space. I might use a finger just to see if I can get a bit more on the lid, a bit more intensity right inside. Yeah, like that. That's cool, I like that. And then I'm just going to go back into Mirage just so I can sort of get a bit more of a blend going. probably go back into Prickly Pear just to define it a bit more above. In fact, I'll do that now. Prickly Pear. Oh, that was smart. I just took it way too high. Let me see if I can cover that up. Got a bit overexcited there. Okay. I might use Salt Flat as the very inner corner. I might do that afterwards though, because I'll put some concealer on. So I'll make a start on the other eye. I am thinking, because obviously I want to try to use some of the shades that I have not yet used. I think I'm picking up my Zoeva 227 and I'm wiping off the pigment because I'm curious. I might go into Dune here and see how that lays down, because it's like a, would I say it's a peachy shade? Where who's Karen? Canyon is orange, Dune I'd say is more peach. So let's see how they look. Yeah, so it's more muted, it's not as vibrant as Canyon is. Karen, I don't know where Karen got involved. Okay, so this is Dune. What I'm kind of experimenting with doing is, because I have limited lid space and hooded eyes, I'm trying to work on placing my shadow higher than I think I should. So that's why I've basically gone right up to the brow here. I like that tone actually, I like that tone a lot. One at my first glance might think why would you need Canyon and Dune, but they are different enough to warrant having both. What do I want to do next? I think I'll deepen things up, so I'll go into Scorched here. No, let's use the ME10 here, made by Mitchell brush. Like so. And I'm still learning, because my eyes are not the same. This is my double fold lid, and sometimes I find if I'm not careful, more so if I'm doing the same look on each eye, it's harder to get them symmetrical because I end up taking things too high on this side. Doesn't matter so much when I do two different looks, one on each eye. That's a bit harsh. I might see about softening that up a little bit. Yeah, that's already better. There we go. Now, I think I already know which way I want to go with the shimmers here, because I haven't used that blue yet. And that blue, I mean, I'm just going to have to hold it up to show it to you, because it's just clearly that shade has got to get involved. Just look at it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I think I'm going to pair Oasis with Sol. I think blue and yellow, I think those two would look really nice together. It's that time again. One thing that's got to be said about Beauty Bay, I don't know how they can produce these palettes. 20 shades, £16. And the quality is always, like, I'm not always sold on the colour stories. I'm not always sold. Desert Haze, I think, if I were to do a ranking of the 20 pans I've got, I think that would end up being high. But the quality of these 20 shades for £16 is insane. I don't know how Beauty Bay do it. I don't know how they do it. Does this look like a £16 palette has created that? I know I haven't finished yet, but really? Ooh. Oasis on the closer to the edge here. This reminds me a little bit actually of the blue in Poison Garden, but I think the blue in Poison Garden is more electric. I think it's right next to me. Should I just swatch it really quickly now? Looking at them head on, wisteria from Poison Garden. It's like it's glowing, it's pulsating in the pan. It's like its own entity. It's mad. Look at them on the fingers there. I don't know if this is going to focus. So that's wisteria and that's ocean. They might look good together actually. No, wisteria's next level, so that's wisteria there and that's ocean. So yeah, together they look quite cool. At first glance it reminded me of it, and then I did think to myself that I think wisteria has got more electricity in it. Does that make sense? It glows. See, this is, would I say it's almost more of a, less of a shimmer, more of a satin, but like, not one of those lackluster satin. Do you know sometimes you get those satiny shades and you're just kind of like, I wish that had been a shimmer. This is just, yeah, this is nice. And again, maybe I'm biased because it's blue, but there's something about this shade that just works. Like, it doesn't need the intensity. As in that shimmery intensity. I mean, that's still pretty intense, isn't it, really? But it's not sparkle heavy. But I don't mind that. You can always put something over the top if you want it to be a bit more sparkly. I wonder if I should have left a bit more space for Sol. See, this is more satiny as well than like intense sparkle. You can tell really the shades that are more satiny and more sparkly. Like Heat is going to be sparkly, Afterglow is going to be sparkly. What I might do is, I've also filmed the swatches on my phone, so I'll insert those too, so you can see the difference between the more shimmery shades and the more satiny shimmers. I can't get in there. This is what silicone applicators are for. I am not left-handed though. It's not as poppy as I would like. That's not as intense. I want the same intense. I don't know if that's just because let me try a smaller brush, smaller flat brush, and I might wet it. I want more. Why is it not popping? Now I kind of wish I'd used Afterglow, but I wanted that blue and yellow. Should I wet it and see if that helps? No, it's still not really doing it. I don't know why. It's alright, but I wish it would match the level of Oasis. I don't know if I've taken that too high now. Quite possibly. Okay, I'm going to have to bring Oasis a bit higher now, I think, just to match that, but that's okay. Right, I'm going to put some concealer under my eyes, and I don't know if I'm going to put foundation on. I might not bother. I'm quite happy with how my skin's looking at the moment. So yeah, maybe just some concealer under the eyes, so I've got something for product to stick to, and I'll be back. Under eyes. On this side, do I want to do something contrasty, or do I see if I Newport did do something contrasty, and I want to use as many shades as possible, so I think I'm going to go with Scorpion. Let's start with this small detail pencil, and if I need to go bigger then I will. Yeah, that's too skinny. Really I need my Zoeva 230, but I'm too lazy to dig it out. And I should anyway, because I'm about to go and wash all my brushes. Okay, this works. Yeah, I think Scorpion goes well. I'm going to use Salt Flat on the very inner corner here, and I am going to wet the brush because I think it warrants wetting the brush. Right on the inside here. Now I have picked up my Zoeva 230. Yeah, okay. And then on the other eye, I don't know if I might flip this and do, I wonder if I could do brown, but then sort of tight line with the blue and the yellow. Should I try that? So I'm using that pencil brush that I used before, which was perhaps a bit too small to apply Scorpion. I'm going back into Oasis. I'm getting really close underneath. And then I will use my Refer number 3 to go into Soul and use that on the inner portion. And I may well need to sort of define that again, because I'm going to use Scorch, which I don't know if that's going to be too close to my skin colour. Yeah, quite possibly too close. I don't want to use Scorpion again though. I think that's okay. Right, I'm going to powder, mascara, liner, and then come back and give some first impressions. I have zoomed you right in so that you can see both eyes complete. Normally I try to do one more neutral eye and one more colourful eye, but I've thrown caution to the wind here and I've just done 2 colourful eyes basically. But I really wanted to use as many colours as I could basically, and I think I've done quite well. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I've got 10. I've got half the palette on my eyes. Do you have a favourite eye? So normally when I do a colourful eye or a neutral eye, most people are drawn to the colourful eye, but they're both colourful in this instance, so it's going to depend really, I think, if you're more of a greeny person, like a greeny gold, or a bluey person. I think I prefer this eye because Soul hasn't done quite what I want it to. Like, I still like this eye, but I think it's this one for me, and probably also because it's got the shade Mirage, which I think is possibly one of the prettiest shades in this particular palette. Greeny gold, or maybe I'll call it the Mirage side, and the bluey yellow or Oasis side. There we have it. I have my window open for for obvious reasons. It's very warm at the moment, so I apologise for any background noise that you might be able to hear. My neighbours seem to be having lots of visitors at the moment. Good for them. So this is my face. How have I finished it? On my lips, something a little bit different. I've lined it with Auburn from NYX. So this is Auburn, yeah. So Auburn liner from NYX, and then I filled in my lips with the Say Modern Lip Blur, so which I normally use, but I normally use it with a brown liner, which makes it a lot more neutral. But I did want a purple lip, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So this is Auburn with Say in the middle, and then I didn't want a gloss as such, but I bought a while ago a couple of the, what are these called now? Half Magic Crystal Butter Balms, and this is Icon Aura. I wasn't too impressed with, I've got Cinnawitch as well. I don't like these on their own, and just on a whim I pulled it out to put it on top of this, and it's just added like a really nice sheen to it, because before it was looking a bit matte and I wanted something a little less matte, and this has kind of done the job. I wish I'd shown it to you before I put it on, but it was very last minute. Oh, I wonder what it would look like if I put this over the top, and I do quite like that. Does the lip go with either of the eyes? Possibly not, but that's what I've landed on today. Blush is Trigwell Cosmetics Mulberry Muse. Highlighter is the Pat McGrath Divine Rose. I do have some bronzer on today, and it is the Revolution Glow Splendor Ultra Matte Bronzer in the shade Dark. A different mascara. So when I bought this from the TikTok shop when they launched it on the Wednesday, and it came, so I'll just show you the whole thing. So you know how Beauty Bay like to do their extra large boxes, so this is the box it came in. I won't be keeping this. Normally I do keep my palettes in their boxes, but not these ones because the boxes are ginormous. If you've ever bought a Beauty Bay palette, you'll know what I mean, but like, look at the thickness. So that's the palette and that's the box. Yeah, we're not keeping that. But I also bought it with the Golden Haze body spray because they had a bundle. I think the bundle was £22, and then they had a £3 off voucher, and then I thought, well, let me throw in something to give me free postage. I think that would have been free postage anyway, I think. But I still threw in the High Key mascara because I've been hearing lots of good things about it. I'm not going to have this on for very long because it's already quite late in the evening. My one critique so far is that I wish the bristles were longer. The bristles are non-existent on this. I don't know if you can see that because it's kind of refusing to zoom. You can see my palm very clearly, but not the wand. But if the bristles were just a little bit longer, you'd be able to get more separation. And what I found with this is it's led to a bit of clumping just because the bristles are so stubby. And I just think if they were just a fraction longer, this could be the one. Because what makes a mascara is partly the formula and partly the wand. And I feel like the wand might have let this down. But let's see. Should I zoom you back in and you can kind of let me know what you think? I don't know if you can see them all that well, but I just think they've clumped a bit just because of the fact that the bristles haven't been able to separate the lashes like some mascara wands let you do. Like if I show you the one I'm loving at the moment, the Gucci, that's just all bristle. The bristles aren't even that much longer, but there's more of them, and it just gives you that separation and makes it easier to coat every single lash. And I feel like the wand has let the High Key mascara down for me. I don't mind it, so maybe that can be my filming mascara. Desert Haze, Beauty Bay. I do like this, first impressions. I mean, I think I knew I would, based on the colour story alone. And I was a little bit concerned. I did wonder if it would have some of those squidgy shimmers that we've seen in some of the Beauty Bay palettes before. But none of them are in here, so I'm happy with that personally. I just think it's a lovely, rich colour story, but it would work on a fairer skin tone. So my main issue, I thought it was raining and I've got washing outside, but it's not. My main issue with Daydreamer is it just lacked all depth. loads of repeat beige shades that were wholly unnecessary, no depth whatsoever. I can still get decent looks out of it, but I think the reason I haven't reached for it much is because there's not a lot of versatility in there for you. This one has versatility. I haven't even delved into the pinky shades, so I haven't used, like, I don't know how much I'd reach for Yucca here. That might be a matte inner corner for me. Same with Sirocco. I wonder what Sirocco is. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know how much I'd reach for those two mattes, but inner corner highlights they'd work for. Everything else is fair game. I'd have no issues with any of the shades, any of the other shades in here, which is great. You know, nice variety. Apart from those two pinks that I mentioned, Sahara and Desert Rose, but the nuances and the shift there, that's where they would be different. But I still stick with my guns here. I don't think they're different enough to have them both. I would keep Sahara because that's the one with the, I'm saying that, is that the one with the, yes, Sahara's the one with the shift, so I think that's the one I'd be inclined to keep. But apart from that, I like this palette, I do. And then I thought I would pull out Metropolis to compare, because I mentioned how I thought that it reminded me of Metropolis and Yucca, which I don't have. So yeah, you can see that. I think they probably go well together. There's a bit of overlap. So you've got Canyon and this orange here. I guess if I put this flap down I can tell you the shades, can't I? Ripe, it reminds me of Canyon. Would I say Aqueous is a bit like Oasis? No, Oasis is deeper. I might just swatch it while I'm here. So that's Aqueous down there, and that's Oasis, and then that was Wisteria from before. There's a lot of similarities. I don't know if I'd say there are any exact dupes though. Or maybe Prickly Pear and Royal. Should I do those quickly? Different tone of the green. That's Prickly Pear and that's Royal from Metropolis there. But yeah, it's very similar vibes. I'll just hold them up one more time. Don't mind my awkward position, but there they are next to each other. So if you were thinking to yourself, oh, I wonder how close they are, there you have it. If you missed out on Metropolis and you want similar vibes, for £16 you can't go wrong. And it's interesting because, as I say, some of the specials in here are more satiny, and I find that with Natasha Denona there's not really sparkle with Natasha Denona. Even her shimmers are more satin like, so that's why that reminds me even more of Metropolis. So I would say, like, definitely if you missed out on Natasha Denona Metropolis and you were gutted, this is an excellent alternative. Is it an exact dupe? No, but it's not far off. Am I mad to have both? No, because I love this palette. You would have to pry this out of my cold, dead hands, this palette. And for £16, this is a great addition, I think. It's almost like an extension of that. I'm looking forward, actually, to diving into this some more. I want to see about creating some neutral looks, which I definitely think you can, because you've got, like, Fennec. Where did Fennec just go? You've got Fennec here, and then you've got Scorched, and then you've got like Hazy, Afterglow and Salt Flat. So you can definitely get some neutral looks out of this, and then you've just got these beautiful colourful tones. I don't know how much I'd reach for the shade Agave because it's one of those pukey greens, and I know a lot of people love those pukey greens, but they're not always my cup of tea. Having said that though, Agave blown out through the crease, deepened with that, with Mirage again, that could be a pretty stellar look. So that would be something I would attempt. Yeah, this one's got me excited, whereas Daydream was a bit of a damp squib. This one, I'm looking forward to playing with a bit more. Have you picked this one up And are you going to, or is this going to be a skip for you? Maybe some people have looked at this and gone, meh, maybe Daydreamer is more up your street. Who knows? For me, this is way up my street. This, when I saw this, I was like, yes, especially for £16. And as I say, I bought it in a bundle with the spray, which is quite a nice spray actually. Should I spray some again now, just to refresh my memory? So I can get the box open. I don't know why I put it back in the box. We don't need the box. Don't need that. How do I like... It's like a musky, summery smell. So it's not... You're like a musky, tropical smell. A light, refreshing hair and body mist that features a mix of lemon, fig, jasmine, amber notes. Yeah, so it's kind of... I can smell that citrusy scent. I don't know what fig smells like. Jasmine and amber notes. But yeah, I think that's why those notes are the ones that are making a bit of more of a musky, tropical scent. But not musky in a bad way. Because I know not everyone likes musky. I don't generally like musky, but this is nice. I don't know how long it lasts though. I like that. I'm glad I bought the bundle to get this. I think this is quite nice. It'll be interesting to see how long the scent does last. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. But as a first impression, I'm happy with that. If you're after super, super sparkly shimmers, this is perhaps not for you, but Beauty Bay don't tend to have those super intense sparkly shimmers. I think that's where the money is. I think that's kind of why they keep these palettes at the price point that they are. They don't tend to do that super sparkly, you know, like Mini Charms has got that super sparkly formula. So if I just swatch Afterglow quickly. So they're not blinding, but they're still very pretty. So if you like those intense, super sparkly, reflective shimmers, Beauty Bay palettes are perhaps not going to do it for you. But I still rate it. I still rate it. £16, guys, £16. And you can always wait for it to go on a sale, because I think Daydreamer is still available. They keep saying limited availability, but it's still going, and I'm not surprised that one hasn't sold well. This one, on the other hand, if you're keen on this one, I think probably get it sooner rather than later. Maybe wait for like the first round of sales, but don't wait too long, because I strongly suspect that this is one of the limited edition palettes that will go quickly, unlike Daydreamer. Massive flop. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch. I hope that you have found this video useful. I also hope that you found it enjoyable, and I will see you again in a video in the not too distant future. Take care. Bye. Checking in on my phone because the battery in my camera has died and I can't be bothered to get my other battery and put it in. This is good enough. And I just wanted to show you that this is, I think, 4 hours max of wear. No, it's not 5 hours yet. I think let's call it 4 hours. But can you see that? It's creasing already. So this is my creasy lid. It's perhaps not quite as obvious here, but on this lid, this is my single crease lid. Well, yeah, just one crease. I don't know if you can see the gapping that's happening there. I hope you can see that, because I can't quite see myself from this angle, but there's like some serious gapping there on that eye. So for 4 hours, that's a considerable amount of creasing, which is very unusual. Like I mentioned it in my Instagram stories just now. I don't believe if I get any creasing from Beauty Bay palettes, it's not as severe as this, and I don't recall having creasing before, so this is unusual. But yeah, I hope you can see that. I'm trying to get you right up in there so that you can see. Yeah, so we'll play around. I don't know what's happened there. I don't know if it's, I mean, it is quite hot. I don't know if that's playing a part, but still. And I have used a different setting spray. Maybe I'll recreate this look. Or well, not this look, one of these looks, maybe this one, because I prefer this one. And I'll use a different setting spray, maybe a different primer, and just see if that makes a difference. Because, yeah, this is unusual. Very unusual. Yeah, just checking in before I wash my face. Revolution Glow spent, well, maybe if I held it the right way round rather than trying to read it upside down, I'd be able to tell you what it is. Ah! Sorry, I've just used Desert Haze and I've just gouged a massive chunk out of one of the shades in. I just don't want to make a mess. Oh, proper put a gouge in that. That'll teach me. Let me know what you think. Are you picking it up? Are you skipping it?